Hey, this is Prema Uncensored, where I give you my uncensored opinion about life and stuff. Okay, so today I am wearing a light olive sari. It's got some blue and some green and some other lighter colors in it. Sorry, and red, and white. I decided to go with the red. I feel like red and green goes really well together, like think Christmas. I've tried blue. It's kind of okay. You could also do white. I think white would work. But this is just my general go-to look. I think my dad bought this for me um, a few years ago in Trinidad, so it definitely has a Trinidadian vibe. This is a very West Indian style sari. I have never seen a sari like this in India, but I like it. I wear it. So as you can see today, I'm wearing my glasses because I've just been like falling apart today, like this whole week actually, not just today, but this whole week. It started about a month ago and started getting like worse and worse, where my scalp was really itchy and I thought it was maybe a fungal infection because of like all the exercise that I do as well as the weather being very humid. I thought maybe it was a fungus that was developing my hair. And then I also started getting a rash on my back, and it's spreading on my shoulders and my front side. It's getting pretty itchy. Anyway, a few days ago, I discovered it in fact was not a fungal infection. It was the other thing that I dare not speak of because it's disgusting. And I've never had this type of parasitic infestation in my life. So I'm like, I literally just want to shave my head, douse it in kerosene, and just light it on fire and just like start my hair all over again, you know? I was advised not to do this yet. So I've been putting medicine in my hair, and now as a result, my hair is like all like dry and crunchy and fuzzy, and it's like I'm like, you know what this look is? This is like old school Prema Rupa. That's what this is. Like with my fuzzy hair and my glasses, and I haven't had time because I'm watching, we're doing some work around the house, so I watch like painters every day. So I haven't had time to get like my eyebrows done or my lip threaded or anything like that. So this is you know, this is like what my husband wakes up to every morning and not the person that people see when I walk out the door. So what else has been happening? Yeah, and then I had an eye infection, and that's why I'm wearing my glasses. I don't know how I got it, and I'm just now recovering from it, so I'm still wearing my glasses. And I don't mind wearing my glasses, but these glasses, they're kind of old and they're scratched up, so I can't really see very well. And then when I look down, it's not happening now, but usually it falls out whenever I look down, and it's really annoying. And then like my ears are uneven, so you can tell if it slips a little bit, you can tell that, you know, I'm crooked. So, and my gum is also, I'm just like falling apart. Like I'm falling apart this week. So we're having a glasses day. We're having a glasses look, and yeah. I got this weird scar right here. Can you see this? I don't know where this came from, and I also have it on the other side. I don't know. I'm just like, what happened? What happened, Prema? What happened? What's going on with your life? So I thought this would be a very good time to talk about depression, because after this whole issue, like I was just like, you know what? We're gonna just time out with life and just take some me time. So I've been like in hiding. A lot of people have not seen me very much, if at all. So we're going to talk about depression. I decided to talk about it because my mom and we were talking about it earlier this week a little bit. I thought this would be a good topic to talk about, considering I have all these issues. It would be like kind of a nice tie-in. So they say 1 in every 10 Americans suffer with depression, so it's not like it's something that's completely foreign. That's like 10% of Americans, right? That means if 100 Americans are in a room, 10 of them are depressed. And I just thought we'd talk a little bit about like the difference between depression and sadness. What do you do about it? How do you help somebody that has it? What it feels like, that kind of stuff. Because I know for me, for example, I mean, I do have depression. Some days it's worse than others. With my miscarriage, it was like the worst it had ever been. Like I'd never been as depressed as I was with that miscarriage. And these videos are kind of a way for me to help myself out of that depression. So if you're watching, thank you. You're helping me. So first, I just wanted to talk about the difference between depression and sadness, and then I'll continue doing my face, I think. So I just wanted to, I saw an article in Psychology Today, and I'll just read this article to you because I think it's really interesting here, okay, on my old broken phone. My phone broke also, so I can't type like certain letters or do certain expressions. I keep like copying and pasting everything. Oh, life. Sadness is a normal human emotion. We've all experienced it and we all will again. Sadness is usually triggered by a difficult, hurtful, challenging, or disappointing event, experience, or situation. In other words, we tend to feel sad about something. This also means that when that something changes, when our emotional hurt fades, when we've adjusted or gotten over the loss or disappointment, our sadness remits. Depression is an abnormal emotional state, a mental illness that affects our thinking, emotions, perceptions, and behaviors in pervasive and chronic ways. When we're depressed, we feel sad about everything. Depression does not necessarily require a difficult event or situation, a loss, or a change of circumstance as a trigger. In fact, it often occurs in the absence of any such triggers. People's lives on paper may be totally fine, and they would even admit that this is true, and yet they still feel horrible. So you can see the difference is that you feel sad because of a situation and then you're able to kind of move past it. But depression is not triggered by a situation, not usually. Meaning it can be triggered by a situation, but it's not always that way. And it doesn't go away and you're just sad over everything and everything seems pointless and hopeless and meaningless and whatever. So that's pretty sad. And again, depression, it's not like only poor people are depressed or only unsuccessful people or failures are depressed. It can happen to anybody, and we've seen in recent times, like some really successful, some really impactful people have committed suicide, have been known to have chronic depression. So it's not that, oh, they have everything in the world. In fact, there's this great quotation, I wish I'd looked it up before I started, by Jim Carrey. Actually, most comedians are very depressed, they're the funniest people because they can observe depressing situations and just like make a joke out of it because it's easier to laugh than to die, But Jim Carrey said something very interesting. He said, I wish everyone in the world got everything they want. Something like this, look it up. He said, I wish everyone in the world got everything they wanted so they'd realize that that's not where happiness comes from. Something like that. I'll look it up if I can find it and put it in the description box, as well as the link to this article. Very interesting article. So there are 9 main symptoms of depression that's recognized by like the Psychological Association. So if you have, I'm going to name them out, and if you have 5 of these, they say, if you have at least 5, you should consider getting help. So see if any of these are you. A depressed or irritable mood most of the time. A loss or decrease of pleasure or interest in most activities, including ones that had been interesting or pleasurable previously. Significant changes in weight or appetite. Disturbances in falling asleep or sleeping too much. Feeling slowed down in your movements or restless most of the day. Feeling tired, sluggish, and having low energy most days. Having feelings of worthlessness or excessive guilt most days. Experiencing problems with thinking, focus, concentration, creativity, and the ability to make decisions most days, and having thoughts of dying or suicide. So if you've hit any of these, you should probably consider seeing somebody. I know that when I was having, after the miscarriage, this was probably the most intense, like, depressive episode I think I'd ever had. Ever in my life. For me, the best way I could describe it, the way I would describe it, my head is so itchy. The way I would describe it was that it felt like it was a brick wall. It felt like a brick wall. I need to do my cheeks. Hold on, just to get y'all caught up. I did a regular face makeup thing. I made sure to especially do bronzer on my nose because I always feel like when I wear glasses, my nose looks bigger. So I just wanted to make that bridge look more narrow. And I'm doing blush, but I'm only putting it on the apples. I'm not bringing it up like I usually do. We're just keeping everything framed right here. So don't pull that up. Just keep it right here. Okay, so yeah, it just felt like I was just feeling up against a brick wall, and the wall had like no windows. You couldn't see past it. You can't see above it or below it. Just one brick wall that goes on for miles and miles. And you just will, and it's just like this feeling of hopelessness because you don't know if there's anything past it, if there's anything for you past it, if you could ever get past it. You just keep, it just felt like that. You just keep feeling this brick wall and you're not able to get past it. I know somebody else described it as being like in a hole and you can't get out of the hole. I was like, when I was doing a little research for this talk, I was thinking about, because it's kind of hard, like I was trying to explain it to my mom about this brick wall, and it really just feels like a brick, there's just nothing beyond the brick wall. There's nothing beyond, it's just this. What you're experiencing now, there's nothing in front of and there's just nothing. It's just a brick wall that you can't pass. There's no future, there's nothing for you. So I was trying to explain this to my mom, I remember, and she was like, I don't get it. And I'm like, I get that you don't get it because it's not a situation that you've ever been in, but have you ever like watched one of those movies, for example, okay, a movie where like you have the main character and they're trapped in a room with no windows and no doors, right? And the bad guy is coming and they're just like trapped in this room and they have no weapons. The bad guy's bigger and smarter than them. And then it's like, well, what does the main character do, right? So maybe it's kind of like that. Maybe I explain it that way, right? There's nothing you do. You just sort of, it's hopeless. There's nothing that you can do. The main character is just coming to kill you, or the antagonist is coming to kill you, and you as the main character are just trapped. You're just trapped in this dark, empty, windowless, doorless room. It feels like, you know, they always say like God closes the door but opens a window, and it's like there's no window, there's no door, you're trapped, you're suffocating, you're gonna die. Like it's just what it feels like. I can't explain it. I don't know. It's just what it is. So yeah, it sort of feels like that, just to give you an idea. Not an easy feeling to kind of live with. So the question is now, what do you, if you have identified that you yourself are suffering with depression, what do you do about it? You could die. I'm just kidding. Don't die. I love you. You're amazing. You're great. I'm just joking. Don't ever die. Okay. I think the first step. Okay, let's do something real. Okay. So what do you do about it? Don't die. The first thing you should do is realize that the only person that can help you is you. It's not like you cut yourself and you can go to the hospital. It's not like, you know, it's something that has to come from within. You have to be determined to help yourself. So despite all the negative self-talk that's going on in your head right now, believe me when I say that your life has meaning, your life has purpose, and you have the ability to help yourself move forward. Now, how you do that is on you. You can see a therapist. That's totally fine. We're living in an age now where seeing a therapist is pretty normal. It's like going to a primary care physician. It's totally fine. It's not like how it used to be. Some therapists may ask you if you want to get put on medication. I know one time, like when I was in like college, they wanted me to see a therapist. I'm blind now. I can't see nothing. I decided to go see a therapist. Nobody wanted me to see one, but I decided to see one. And the first thing they asked me is if I wanted to be put on medication. They didn't even evaluate me yet. They just asked me if I wanted to be put on medication. I thought about it for a second, then I was like, no, I don't. And I can tell you why. Is because having been a pharmacy technician, working in a pharmacy, working with many different kinds of medications, I feel like being put on antidepressants should be a last result. Like last resort. Like, if you can't help yourself without medicine, if you can't sort your feelings and your problems out without medicine, then definitely take the medication. But if you haven't taken that first step, you know, of seeing a therapist and working out your problems, or trying to work out the problem, you know, like doing something to help yourself first, you know, don't just take the medicine. You know, there is always the risk of dependency on it and needing to get stronger dosage and actually never getting off of it. And I mean, if you want to take medicine, that's on you. And like I said, if you need to take that medicine, there's no way you can sort yourself out without it. By all means, I encourage you, take the medicine. But I'm just saying that, you know, sometimes you can actually work it out with just a therapist, just having someone to kind of help you and guide you through it, you know. My issue was kind of, you know, I did see a therapist, but then that therapist was an idiot, and then I was like, therapy's dumb, I'm never doing this again. And now I live here in India, and I live in like it's a city and a village, basically. So we don't have access to therapy or anything like that. So I don't have the option of therapy here. Okay, I've got a Wet n Wild palette, and I've got like an olive, you know, they always come with these little brushes that fall apart. And I'm like, why? Why? Why do this? Ugh, stop. Anyways, so I realized after the miscarriage that I needed to help myself. I needed to find a way to help myself. Since there's no therapist here, I did think about going on medication, but because there's no one to supervise the medications, I didn't want to just take anything, because there are side effects to taking like antidepressants or anti-anxiety medications, such as like an increased amount of suicidal thoughts. So the chance of you actually committing suicide from taking antidepressants is higher. So I kind of wanted to avoid that, especially if I don't have someone watching me and regulating my meds. So I decided that I'd help myself out, and what kind of motivated me to do that was a quotation that I read in Bhagavad Gita, but I realized I didn't bring my Bhagavad Gita here. Hang on just a sec. Okay, so we've got the Bhagavad Gita here. If you've never read the Bhagavad Gita, read Bhagavad Gita, as it is excellent body of work. If anything, I think I totally recommend this, because it's like completely beyond like religion or, you know, like gender, or, you know, it's about your soul, and it's about yourself, and it speaks to who you are as a person. So I definitely recommend reading Bhagavad Gita. I'm not saying you have to read all the purports or whatever. Even if you just read the translation, it's helpful, and then use the purports as like supplements. Even that's really good. Anyways, so chapter 6, verse 5. I remember this because my parents used to say this all the time when I was younger. So verse 5 says, one must deliver himself with the help of his mind, and not degrade himself. The mind is the friend of the conditioned soul, and his enemy as well. Chapter 6, verse 6 says, for him who has conquered the mind is the best of friends. But for one who has failed to do so, his mind will remain the greatest enemy. So, so here it's saying that your mind can either be your friend or your enemy, depending on you and how you use it. And that it's your responsibility to decide what you want to do. So with that in mind, I said, okay, nobody can help me but me. You know, I don't have a particularly good support. My husband does his best, but at the end of the day, I don't have a particularly great support system here. So I'm just gonna try and figure this out. So, so I just wanted to talk about, if you don't want to see a therapist, or you don't have access to therapy, and you don't want to take medication, here's what I did to kind of help myself out of depression. It's just, I'm not saying that this is going to work, I'm saying this is what worked for me. So anything that I'm telling you right now, or have been saying in this video, it's just what worked for me. And by the way, okay, so I'm doing some eyeshadow, but I'm not doing a heavy look with the eyeshadow because I'm wearing glasses, and because my glasses are narrow framed, you know, I'm just keeping it simple. No mascara. And If I had wider frame glasses, you could do eyeliner and a little bit more shadow with different colors, but because they're narrow frames, I'm just doing one color and maybe just a line of eyeliner. Anyway, so the first thing that you have to do is kind of, you have to be the observer. So you are not your mind and you are not your feelings. You have to understand that first. So whatever is happening to you right now is something that you're experiencing with your body, that your mind is identifying with yourself, but you have to become the observer. That's the first point, is you need to be the observer. So you have to look at it kind of on a different level. You're watching yourself experiencing these emotions and understanding, yes, I'm feeling this way, yes, I'm doing this, this is not me, this is just something that is passing. You have to, it's something that will pass through. That's kind of the first step, is you need to become the observer. Otherwise, what happens if you don't become the observer, you identify yourself with your mind, you identify yourself with the enemy, with the negative emotions, and then you say, yes, I am this, and I'm never, yes, I'm helpless, life is meaningless, I'm never going to get out of it, and then you don't. So you have to be the observer. You have to look at yourself from a different standpoint. And then the next thing I did was I just said, I told myself it's okay to take a break. You don't owe anybody anything. You can take a mental health break, and that's totally fine, and it doesn't make you a lazy person or a bad person or a neglectful person. You can do whatever it is you need to do. I watch a funny movie, and I eat pizza and ice cream and an Appy Fizz, which is delicious. They don't have that anywhere else in the world, just in India, and it's amazing. And I just take some time to be by myself and not do anything, and that's totally fine. That's okay. To just take that mental break and get away from all your hurt and your thoughts and your feelings and the things that upset you, and just be by yourself. And that's totally okay. That's totally fine. Got my glasses again. So the third step, or the third thought I had, was that you should also stop competing with other people. So you may be in a situation where you see other people progressing just fine in life and everything seems happy and wonderful and cheerful for them, and you're just stuck in this horrible, degrading, demeaning situation that you can't get out of. You don't have the same life as them. You don't have the same struggle as them. Everybody has a struggle. Everybody has their problems. Stop comparing yourself to other people. Someone can be successful at, 17, and some people can be successful at 70. That's totally fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Some people get their dream job right out of university. Some people gotta wait 10 years. That's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes it's just that's just the cards that you're dealt, and try to just understand that you're not them, they're not you. Don't compete. Just try and watch your own driving. Don't watch other people's driving. Just to give a random example, okay? Drive your own car. Be in charge of your own life. Don't watch how other people drive their car, because you're gonna crash, okay? Watch your own car. Drive your own car. So what I did, I put myself in that mind frame, right? So I was like, I want to help myself. I'm my own friend. I'm the only person that can help me. I'm not comparing myself to other people. I'm just going to work on myself and do my thing, right? So some things I did was I started doing meditation. I did yoga. I did affirmations. And for some reason, I started watching breakup videos. So I did this Deepak Chopra and Oprah Winfrey 21-day meditation challenge. The thing is so all of these things that I did has like a time frame to it. So it was like August. I said, okay, from the beginning of August, I'm starting these things, and they don't take long, and I did them religiously. So I did that challenge. Every morning you wake up and it's 15 minutes, you put your headphones on and you just listen to the thing, you listen to the recording, and you say the mantras, and you think of the intentions or whatever it is for the day, and you just do that. So I was doing that, and that helped me a lot. I started doing yoga. I love yoga with Adrienne, and she said some really sweet affirmations, and she's so positive. And like, I'm not very good at yoga. If you know me, I'm not even a little bit athletic. And the whole time she's just like, it's okay, just do whatever you feel, go as far as you can, and that's fine. So I like doing yoga with Adrienne. She's not very strenuous. So I did the 30-day true challenge. So every day she had an intention, and it was something to meditate on while you were doing yoga. And that was really nice. I did a lot of affirmations. So one affirmation I did that was helpful. And sometimes when I need to stop, when I start getting like anxiety or depression, I refocus on the affirmation that the universe has my back. And whenever I think that way, like, it kind of rezones me. Like, yeah, actually, Krishna wants me to succeed. The universe wants me to succeed. I'm going to be okay. I did some, like, other random stuff, too. I did, like, what is that called? Power of Attraction. I was doing those for a while. I was trying, like, chakra healing just for fun. Yeah, just anything that could kind of bring my mood up and kind of heal me, I did those things. And I even was watching breakup videos, even though I didn't like actually break up with anybody, but for a while on my subscriber thing, I had like 8 different like breakup gurus who like, they get on there and they're just so positive. They're like, you have value. Don't worry if he doesn't like you. You need to just work on yourself. And I'm like, yeah, I need to work on myself. And I would feel like all good about it. So I love watching breakup videos, Breakup Rad and Love Advice TV and all those guys. They're really, really, Derek Jackson, loved him, where they kind of make you feel like you can do anything. They give you that, you have value and you can do anything and you don't need him. Give him 30 days, work on yourself in the next 30 days and let him see the new you. It's stuff like that. So all these things have like a time on it, 30 days, let him see the new you. 21 days in meditation, 30 days yoga challenge. So, this kind of gave me something to work toward and to kind of lift my spirits and heal my heart and make me feel good about myself. So I definitely, totally recommend being a crazy person and doing all of those things because it really helped me a lot. Another thing I did while I was doing those things was I started doing small tasks. So right after the miscarriage, my small task was brushing my hair because I hadn't brushed my hair for like a week. And that was my task for the day. Like, I didn't make my bed, didn't sweep the floor, didn't do any laundry, I did nothing else. I brushed my hair. And that was enough, And slowly I got to other tasks, and then my big task was making up my bed and cleaning the floor and tidying up my room and making it nice and presentable and a pleasant place to be in. Because to have a positive mindset, you need to be in a positive environment. So try to work on small, achievable tasks, like things that you can control. Like, you can control the cleanliness of your room. You can control brushing your hair and braiding it. You can control taking a shower. These are small things that you can control. So work on those things. And then after that, take the steps that you need to take toward doing bigger tasks. So for me, a big task was making these videos. So I made a timeline. I wrote down some topics I wanted to talk about. I did research on the topics. I've got my saris all hung up by episode. So every episode is a different sari. And I organized myself. I tested out my webcam on my computer to see if it works. So take steps towards a bigger task. Of course, my goal is to one day have like 1 million subscribers and to be, on a talk show one day and to eventually like become a movie star and get like an Oscar or something. But you take the small steps to have the bigger steps later on. I would love to have like my own sitcom, by the way. If you know me, I've talked about this. I have an idea for a sitcom. Anyways, so take those small steps toward your bigger steps. And again, set a time limit on yourself. So every week on certain days, I make videos and post those videos. And my last step, or my last point, was just to say screw it and just do whatever, do the thing. I use a different word other than screw, but I'm trying to keep this kid friendly, so I use a cuss word in my head. So, but anyway, you just say screw it and you just do the thing. Usually when you say, that's screw it, you just start doing it, you know? At that point you say, what have I got to lose? That's basically what you're saying is, you know what, I'm going to make these videos because either way I'm going to die. At least I would have died trying something than died doing nothing. So screw it, just do the thing. So I did that. So that's kind of what I did to help me out of my depression. You can try and see if it works for you. You can, if you want, actually, if you want links to any of these videos that I mentioned, these YouTube videos, I can give them to you. Otherwise, you just look it up. Maybe you're not the person that's depressed. Maybe you know someone that's depressed. And you want to know what you can do to help them. So first, you need to recognize the signs of depression. If you've noticed that they've changed, that they've become more morose or more sullen or whatever, and you ask them, are you okay? I feel like something's wrong. And, you know, sometimes they'll open up to you, and it's okay to ask, have you thought about suicide? Like, how deep are these thoughts? Are you doing self-harm or whatever it may be? So recognize that a person is not themselves, or they're in a situation that'll trigger a depression, and try to talk to them. Encourage them to get treatment, but maybe they're like me where they're like, I don't want treatment because of so many reasons. Stay in touch with that person as much as you can, once every couple days or every day or every week. And sorry, just going back to that recognizing the signs thing, because I was thinking about Chester Bennington from Lincoln Park, and like 2 weeks before he committed suicide, he was like on some like radio talk show or something, and he was talking about depression, and he was so serious about it. And the guy that was hosting the show was like awkwardly laughing, like he didn't know how to react to his talking about depression so seriously, and it was like, he should have recognized right there, like, hey, we're talking about something really serious, and he seems to be really affected by this. Let's take it seriously. But this guy, the host, didn't. And, you know, it would have been nice if somebody starts talking about depression or self-harm or suicide. Usually you will see some sign. No one's, like, laughing and happy, and then the next day they, like, hang themselves. That doesn't... Usually there's a sign that people ignore. And a person with depression, usually, I'm not saying always, but usually they will reach out for help in a very subtle way. So if you know a person who has a history of depression and you think they're having another depressive episode, you know, kind of take it upon yourself. You don't have to involve your whole life in it. You know, you do need some time for your own soul and for your own self, but do try to help as much as you can. Stay in touch with that person. Talk to them about getting treatment. You should try to encourage them and always make them feel valued and loved. Let them know that they have worth in the world, and that it's their responsibility to find that worth, and it's beyond suicide. And above all, if you can't do anything else, just be a good listener. Just sit there and listen to them talk, and listen to their feelings, and make them feel valid, and make them feel loved. After that, after you've kind of built up kind of like a good relationship with that person, try and do something together with them, like maybe watch a funny movie, or take them out for lunch, or just do something outside, maybe go shopping, or just walk around somewhere. Like I like to go for walks, and I'll just walk around the block for like hours and hours. There's a lot to see in India, so it's not so hard to walk around for hours and hours though. Something that's nice is you can work on a goal together. So if that person talks about something that they want to do, say, hey, I'm willing to help you with that, and try to help them find that goal. I know for me, it was super weird because I'd lost a taste for everything that I wanted to do. Everything that I ever liked doing, I just didn't want to do it anymore. None of it had taste for me. And then finally, I was like, okay, if there's anything that I want to work on, I want to make videos. Right? I don't want to direct and do all that stuff anymore. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of like having to fight with people and beg for money and, you know, beg people to participate in whatever. I just wasn't into that anymore. So I make these videos, and I'm working on other videos, And I also have been I've been taking dance classes, you know, that's something I always wanted to do, so I started doing that. And I started like writing songs. I don't know why. I couldn't tell you why. I don't know. Haven't written a song, haven't written a poem since high school. Got back into it again. That's fine. That's fine. Just do anything, just as long as you have a goal. And you, as the person that sees your depressed person, have one goal, one thing that will keep them alive, okay? Help them achieve that goal. Maybe I'm not saying you have to do a big thing. You don't have to give them like $1,000. I'm just saying maybe your job is just to read their poem and give them constructive criticism. Maybe your job is to, hold a video camera when they're making a video. Something that'll help them get over what they're going through right now and give them purpose. That could be your thing. And one thing they say that you should do, I kind of don't really agree with it, but whatever, I'm going to say it, is try to make the depressed person laugh. And yeah, that helps them, I think, in the moment, but what I think is important is to find long-term solutions to their problems. So finding goals, helping them with goals, listening to them talk, and in their talking they can work themselves out. Like, those are all things that'll help them in the long run, but laughter is not really a long-term thing. You can laugh while you're talking, that's fine, but I'm not like, don't bust in like a comedian and be like, I'm gonna tell you a bunch of jokes and you're gonna laugh and then you're not gonna want to kill yourself and then I'm gonna clear out. That's not how that works. That's not how that works. So I saw this. So when you're talking to a person, I thought this was really important. Also, this is psychcentral.com. These are some important points. They say be there, try a small gesture. The thing is that when you want to help someone else, it doesn't mean that you're going to solve their problem. It's not like you walk in one time, you put the bandage on the cut and the cut's going to heal. It takes some time, and you have to accept that it takes some time. Don't judge or criticize the person. Avoid the tough love approach. So don't be like, snap out of it. I can't handle you anymore. I don't want to be around you. You need to deal with your own problems. Stop dragging me into your own problems. Somebody told me that. Rude. Don't minimize their pain. Don't be like, oh, you have all this money. Like, what do you have to be depressed about? You could be the poor person on the street. Or like, I complained I had no shoes until I saw a man with no feet. Like, don't say stuff like that. Don't minimize their pain. Avoid offering advice. Let them kind of, until they say, what do you think? Don't really give advice. Don't make comparisons. Learn as much as you can about depression. Be patient. I thought those were really important. Don't be like, snap out of it. It's an abnormal mental illness that they have to work out themselves. So these were just all my thoughts on depression. I hope some of my thoughts and my ideas here help you somehow, because they help me a lot. I hope you got something from this. I'm gonna finish getting dressed, and then you can see like what my final look here. I keep getting so busy talking, I don't finish getting dressed. Okay, this is my finished look. I put on like an olive colored bindi, and I also have this Nrsinga Pavitra that has some olive in it. I've got some olive earrings, I've got a crystal nose pin, and I'm doing like what's nice about wearing your glasses is you're doing a very light color on your eyes, or maybe nothing at all. So you can do a more striking colored lip, so I went with like a bright red lip. That's about all I've got today. If you have any thoughts about this subject or any other subject, please leave a comment below. All of my contact information is below. If you like what you've seen, please feel free to subscribe. I appreciate you for having watched this far. I hope you had a great day, you're having a great day, or you're going to have a great day. Bye, friends.